Potato.
Hello, I'm Blake Johnson. It's 4 o'clock in Melbourne and these are our top stories. Tributes for loving parents and their 3-week-old baby killed in a suspicious house fire. Also, a fresh COVID scare as the virus escapes hotel quarantine again. A major milestone in the global vaccine race, but Australia will have to wait. High on ice and awake for days. Shock details emerge as a police killer pleads guilty, and why a rampaging roo set its sights on a startled jogger.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7's Afternoon News with Blake Johnson.
First at 4, a young couple and their 3-week-old baby are being remembered as beautiful souls after they died in a Point Cook house fire. Relatives return to the scene today as police investigate whether the blaze was deliberately lit. Paul Dowsley has more.
This was brave and confronting. The sister of the young mum who died in this townhouse with her partner and their newborn daughter came here this morning to see it for herself. Abby Forrest and Inda Sohal were proud new parents. Their first child, Ivy, was born less than 3 weeks ago, but yesterday morning they all perished in a fire so fierce investigators believe it may have been deliberately lit. This morning, Abby's sister Emily dropped flowers and a teddy bear at the fire scene. She described Abby's big, bold personality and spoke about what an exciting time the past few weeks had been.
Their life had pretty much just started, and yeah, it just should be like the perfect time of their life. And yeah, now this awful tragedy has happened.
She spoke publicly to remember Abby, who she said was already showing herself to be an amazing mum, who she was incredibly proud of.
I just know that she would just turn around and just tell me just to try and remain really strong. She's always been a really brave person.
Emily went out of her way here this morning to find and thank neighbours who had tried to get inside, including Stephen Young, who ran inside the burning townhouse, but it was just too intense. And we heard from another neighbour, Jade Bartolo, who saw someone in the smoke in an upstairs window.
They were saying help, help. Like that's all I hear in my head right now, is them screaming for help.
She lives in the same complex.
Yeah, I'm terrified now to stay there. So I've already been looking at other properties potentially. We're only here till Feb.
Investigators have now gathered evidence from inside. They are using that to determine what caused this blaze. That could take days.
Victoria has notched up 34 days without a COVID infection, but there's proof from New South Wales of how easily things can go wrong in hotel quarantine. Chanel Vella joins us from the newsroom. Chanel, a worker has tested positive in Sydney.
Well, a cleaner working in the program has returned a positive test, ending a 26-day COVID-free streak for New South Wales. The new case has again highlighted the risks of hotel quarantine. Just yesterday, New South Wales announced they would relax their restrictions further next Monday, and their Premier remains confident that can still happen. That's despite the possibility of thousands of people being forced into isolation after it was revealed the woman had travelled on public transport.
This is a real test for New South Wales, and I don't want to underestimate this. Unfortunately, we don't know the particular carriage. She did wear a mask.
After shutting down our program in July, hotel quarantine will restart here in Victoria on Monday. The first flight is expected to touch down just after 8 a.m. All up, 125 passengers will arrive at Tullamarine. They'll be spread across 5 flights from Colombo, Doha, Singapore and Hong Kong.
Chanel, thank you. Both the Victorian Government and Tennis Australia confirm they are close to an agreement on staging the Australian Open. In leaked emails, the tournament director has told players the event will start on February 8 and promises they'll be allowed to train under strict conditions during a 2-week quarantine. But negotiations are continuing.
Hopefully we're very close to a resolution on things like on something like the tennis.
The emails also reveal the tournament will be run at a huge loss, with health protocols likely to cost Tennis Australia $40 million. The Prime Minister says he won't rush to roll out a COVID vaccine in Australia, despite the Pfizer jab being approved in the UK. Olivia Leeming explains how immunisations could start in Britain next week.
The first of 40 million doses the UK's ordered will be given on Monday morning, but the government concedes it will be a logistical nightmare to roll out, especially given this vaccine must be stored at below freezing temperatures. Australian authorities will be monitoring closely to see what lessons they can take away from this, but don't expect a vaccine to be available here until March. The fastest development of a vaccine in history.
The public can be absolutely confident that every rigorous check has been done.
The UK approves the Pfizer vaccine, deemed 95% effective. The first jabs to be given next week, firstly to aged care residents and health workers.
I strongly urge people to take up the vaccine.
It must be stored at minus 70 degrees Celsius and needs 2 doses 3 weeks apart for immunity.
We've got to get that balance right, and we will implement the vaccine here in Australia according to Australian needs and Australian conditions.
Australians face a longer wait, with the vaccine on track for approval here in January for a March rollout.
The safety of Australians is the number one priority.
Australia to benefit from the UK data.
Well, I wouldn't want to use the word guinea pigs with the UK.
Regulators say the experience of several 100,000 people being vaccinated over coming months will help determine if it's suitable for Australians with certain health conditions.
It'll actually improve the quality of the advice that we can give for Australians.
There are no plans to force parents to immunise their children, but politicians already signing up.
If Professor Skerritt gives it the tick, then I'm happy to take the jab.
Australia's agreed to buy 10 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine along with 3 other candidates, hoping for a widespread rollout from mid-next year that's set to boost the Australian economy, on the latest estimates, by $34 billion.
A truck driver has apologised as he pleaded guilty to killing 4 police officers on the Eastern Freeway in April. A court heard Mahinder Singh was sorry for slamming his truck into the officers as they stood on the side of the road. We'll hear explosive details of why the crash happened later in this bulletin. Australia Post is experiencing its biggest ever parcel delivery week, adding to concerns about postal delays this Christmas. As Estelle Griepink reports, massive Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales have increased demand for online deliveries.
Well, it's all systems go here at Australia Post Sunshine Parcel Facility. They're expecting to process more than 2 million packages in this week alone. This week is shaping up to be the biggest parcel delivery week in Australia Post's 211-year history. The triple whammy of Black Friday, Cyber Monday and Christmas gift shopping, meaning staff have their work cut out for them.
Through December, we'll be delivering 2 million parcels a day right through the month. We really encourage everyone to get in their parcels as early as they can.
Ahead of the Christmas rush, Australia Post has hired an extra 5,000 people. They've chartered 18 freighter flights and will have an extra 3,000 vehicles on the road.
We are really well equipped to deal with the extraordinary volumes that we're seeing this time of year.
And Australia Post is reminding us to send off all of our Christmas presents as soon as possible. The cut-off date to get your Christmas presents delivered by Christmas Day is December 12.
A jogger in Melbourne's outer east has been stalked and attacked by a kangaroo. The young mum believes the marsupial was attracted to her Sarah Jessica Parker perfume. She spoke to Cameron Bowe.
It is truly a bizarre set of circumstances, and we are fortunate enough now to be joined by Tracy Noonan and daughter Mackenzie, who found herself in the centre of that situation. Tracy, when did you first become aware of that roo?
Yeah, so as I was running along the road, I saw the kangaroo out of the corner of my eye, and I didn't really think anything of it because, I see them all the time when I go for this particular run. But it started to get closer and closer to me, and then it jumped a fence, and it was between the same distance between you and I here, and that's when I sort of panicked and thought, what is this kangaroo doing?
Yeah. And it actually knocked you over, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. So as it came to this distance here, I turned my head and turned my back to it because I thought, what else are you going to do? And then I felt it hit me in the back, and it's actually knocked me to the ground.
Yeah. And from there on, you tried to get away, but it wasn't leaving you alone, was it?
No, it definitely wasn't. It actually just kept chasing me and chasing me up into a person's driveway.
And how long did it take until you felt like you were safe and away from this thing?
Not until I had got up into their driveway. It actually followed me into their front yard and was standing there, and thank goodness the people were home. It was still there when I went to leave.
we're having a bit of a laugh maybe over it now, but it was pretty terrifying for you at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's something out of a movie. Like, where would you think that you would be attacked by a kangaroo? For it to actually chase me the way it did, it's quite horrifying.
Tracy, thanks so much for your time. Fortunately, some bruises and scratches, that's the extent of your injuries. Authorities have been notified about this incident, but to this point there's been no more sightings of that kangaroo.
A Victorian councillor killed during a helicopter training flight. That's ahead on 7 News. Also, how outdoor dining is reinvigorating Melbourne. Jane Bunn takes a look. And later, move over Santa, the unlikely ornaments bringing Christmas cheer to a lucky family. Back soon across Victoria and Tasmania.
The Big Bash Fast Start. 7 nights in a row at 7 on 7.
That is unbelievable.
It's the biggest start ever. Hobart in Sydney sees the big hitters facing the reigning champs. The Big Bash starts next Thursday on 7.
You don't have to spend a lot to bring a little bit of magic home.
Cylinder pot, only $16.98. Monstera, just $13.83.
Where you find a competitor's lower price on the same stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Bring home a little magic this Christmas.
Hi, thanks for calling HIF. You're speaking to HIF. What does HIF stand for? Great Value Health Cover. Oh, you mean the letters. The Health Insurance Fund of Australia. Yeah, we've been around for over 65 years. And that's human years, not dog years. Never mind. Now, can I fetch you a quote?
Why don't you come? Why don't you come? The pleasure's all mine, never getting old. If you're looking for me, I'll be dancing in my own way.
Guess who's back? But you never left. Yes, I did, I rose from the dead. And now I'm here to slay them with flows and some punchlines that'll go over your head. Drop, turn back, I'm a caution in red.
Go full Christmas with decorations for less. Aldi. Good. Different.
I'm off to see a man about a dog.
Ooh, I've got to make a little deposit.
Time to do some paperwork.
Hey love, I'm just off to download some software.
It doesn't matter how you say it, it just matters that you do it regularly. Take Metamucil daily, a natural way to stay regular and support a healthy gut. Get Metamucil from Chemist Warehouse for the best price.
Go take care of business.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway. Looking for adventure. And whatever comes our way. Born to be wild.
Has summer ever been so important? Let's keep it safe. Volvo.
Mika is a perfectionist when it comes to sculpting hedges. Just don't ask her for a short back and sides.
That's terrible.
It's amazing what you can't do. Task smarter.
Airtasker.
So, I need a holiday.
Do you?
Yeah, for Australia.
What about the outback?
Yes.
We could catch our own lunch.
I know exactly what you mean.
We should just go somewhere we've always wanted to go.
Yes. Oh, honey, I could teach the kids to surf.
You don't know how to surf.
Yeah, I mean, obviously someone would teach me and then I would pass on the wisdom.
Plan a holiday here this year for Australia.
A local councillor from northern Victoria has died in a helicopter crash in New South Wales. Newly elected Moira Shire councillor Andrew Goldman was one of 2 people killed when the chopper crashed in the Southern Highlands late yesterday. Emergency services trekked for 2 hours in remote bushland to reach the wreckage. The 2 men were on a training flight when their aircraft disappeared from radar. Authorities are yet to determine what went wrong. Donald Trump has delivered what he calls the most important speech he's ever made. He used the 45-minute rant to allege more bizarre claims of tremendous voter fraud, as Ashley Mullaney reports from the US.
Their conversations happening behind the scenes, the president reportedly weighing up a preemptive pardon for himself and 3 of his children. According to the New York Times, Donald Trump spoke as recently as last week with his personal attorney Rudy Giuliani about the pardons, which would offer the family immunity from federal but not state prosecution.
Now I hear that these same people that failed to get me in Washington have sent every piece of information to New York so that they can try to get me there.
The president railing against the election result in a 45-minute video today, a speech he described as the most important he'd ever make, repeating baseless claims of voter fraud now dismissed by courts and his own Attorney General.
Everyone is saying, wow, the evidence is overwhelming when they get to see it. In fact, there is still plenty of time to certify the correct winner of the election. And that's what we're fighting to do.
In his closing days in office, it's likely Donald Trump will oversee the first phase of a coronavirus vaccine rollout. Cases are still surging here, and with almost 2,600 deaths yesterday, the highest since April, the president-elect has issued this dire warning.
We're likely to lose another 250,000 people dead between now and January.
A critical moment for Americans facing the greatest health crisis of a generation, with their leader determined to overturn an election. Donald Trump back in campaign mode, saying he plans to hold a so-called victory rally in Georgia this weekend to support 2 Republican senators, an event no doubt likely to spark more conversation about a potential run in 2024.
Melbourne's alfresco dining program is gaining momentum as spending increases and weather improves. Jane Bunn is in Williamstown, where businesses have relied on the great outdoors to survive.
Well, Blake, I'm at the Customs House Hotel, where life after lockdown looks very different. Here is Jenny, who is in charge of functions. Jenny, how many challenges have you had since reopening?
Oh, there's been so many, but I suppose the first challenge was after 8 months of lockdown, getting off the couch and stopping watching Netflix was the first thing. After that, it was amazing how many people had actually come to see us for functions and birthdays, lost weddings and gained weddings. So just working with the sheer numbers was really difficult to start off with.
Oh, amazing. So everyone wants to head back out for dinner now. How much of a challenge has that been? With the numbers, what can you have here?
Well, normally we can take up to 400 people, and at the moment we're doing 95 people inside and 96 people outside.
So that's effectively doubled your capacity that you could have by having outside, yeah?
Absolutely, yes, and it's been a real godsend from the council. It's been our saving grace.
Well, let's bring in the local mayor, Jonathan. Now, I believe there's 40 outdoor dining precincts. How have you put that together?
Well, the council, during the second lockdown, put its mind towards how we might recover from this epidemic. And that means effectively doubling the footpath width in places, bringing people out to enjoy dining in the outdoors and stimulating the local economy.
Fantastic. So out there, they were all car parks, right? And now that's where you can go out for a bite to eat. How easy was it to turn that around?
It was not necessarily easy, but the team worked really hard on making it happen, and they did it in a very short time.
So absolutely lovely on a sunny day like this. How good does it look out there?
It's a beautiful place to sit with the sunshine and in an iconic dining location like Williamstown with a view of the city as well.
Fantastic. And so there's grass underneath, you've got umbrellas, that sort of thing. Now, what happens when it rains? Like Monday, for example, isn't looking great.
No, but we're Melburnians, you know. We're happy in any weather. And all we want to do is make sure that our traders thrive as we come out of this awful lockdown.
So Council will gauge the success of this outdoor dining precinct at the end of summer with the view to see whether we can continue it for years to come. Blake.
Thanks, Jane. It appears the pandemic has had little effect on climate change, with 2020 set to break heat records. That's next on 7 News. Also in sport, The Big Show talks about his incredible shot last night. And you won't believe how much LeBron James has just signed for in the NBA. Stay with us right here on 7.
Join us for the ultimate brekkie party live from Hamilton Island with Aussie superstar Amy Shark on Sunrise tomorrow.
That's a bra that your body's supposed to fit. This is a bra that fits perfectly to your body. Introducing Sarah Mia, a bra so supporting and flattering, yet so comfortable, you won't even know you're wearing a bra. The secret is Sarah Mia's double conforming lifting straps. The lace strap is a lifting wrap, just criss and cross to be cradled in comfort and youthfully lifted. Take a look at how Sarah Mia fits all shapes and supports all sizes, all without underwire. Hayley has a naturally smaller chest and just wanted a little more shape. She got the look she was going for on the very first try. And this is Roxanne. She thought about getting a lift, but really didn't want the surgery. She tried the bra and is beyond thrilled with not only the lift, but the youthful look it gives her. And lastly, Whitney. Whitney has a very large chest, which has caused her back strain when not supported. When she tried on the bra, it not only gives her the support she needs, but the shape she wants.
This is the first bra that's been comfortable, soft, and still supportive.
I look great, I feel comfortable. Confidence is even more where I kind of stand up more with my posture. And the best part is that you don't feel it and you can't tell that you're wearing it.
Even though I have 2 different sized boobs, the straps that fasten in the front, the fact that they contour to who you are and how your boobs are, that is just amazing to me.
Call Global Shop Direct or go online to order Sarah Mia in your choice of black, white or nude for the low price on your screen. Want even more value? Upgrade your order and save with our Value 3-pack. You'll get 1 black, 1 white and 1 nude bra and save an amazing $70. If Sarah Mia isn't the most comfortable, soft bra you've ever worn, just send it back within 30 days for a full refund of the product price. Finally, a bra that fits perfectly to your body. Order Sarah Mia today.
Open amazing at Lexhibition. With a 1.9% comparison rate across the selected range of Lexus vehicles. Contact your Lexus dealer before December 31st.
Your all-new e-commerce site that was built by top freelancers on Fiverr is up. They built it and expertly marketed it and promoted your products online. Now, how happy are you from 1 to 10? Fiverr, freelance services on demand.
Jenny suffers from FOMOD. Todd has FOMOD too. Fear of missing out on Domino's deals can affect anyone, but there is a cure. Download the Domino's app to get a new deal every day, plus a free large pizza with your next delivery order. Bring it in!
Powerboard. Play by your own rules.
Live from Melbourne, you're watching 7's Afternoon News. 22 outside right now. Jane Bunn will be here with the forecast later in the hour. This year is on track to be one of the hottest ever recorded. The extreme heat stoked bushfires, droughts and hurricanes. The United Nations says the data points to 2020 being the second warmest year globally since record began. Sea temperatures are at record levels, with 80% of oceans recording a so-called marine heat wave. Sport now with Tom Brown. Tom, India showed some fight to win the final one-dayer.
Hello, Blake. Yes, but it was Glenn Maxwell who stole the show last night. The all-rounder, known as the Big Show, put on an awesome display of power hitting. One freakish reverse sweep was clobbered for 100 metres.
I suppose it's part of my evolution. I suppose as a finishing batter, I feel like I've been in good form.
Maxwell fell for 59 as India won by 13 runs, but Australia took the series 2 games to 1. And still on cricket, Dave Warner's groin injury may have done a favour for out-of-form Test opener Joe Burns. Instead of a so-called bat-off against Victorian Will Pucovski, the pair will open for only the second time together for Australia A against India A.
It's about getting our prep sorted for the Test series, but also putting India on the back foot and landing the first punch.
The tour game starts on Sunday in Sydney. Meantime, former Essendon footy boss Dan Richardson has officially joined the AFL as the league's new umpires boss. Meanwhile, Western Bulldogs president Peter Gordon is confident an agreement will be finalised with Collingwood over how much the Pies will pay of Adam Treloar's salary going forward.
We've got a very good relationship, from the president down. in each club. We understand each other's problems. We understand the sort of exigencies that goes on, and we'll sort out the detail with Collingwood in relation to that, and we'll all get on with our lives.
Treloar has signed with the Bulldogs for 5 years. Meantime, there'll be a double dose of supercars at Mount Panorama next year. The schedule, which was unveiled today, with the season starting at the spiritual home of motorsport for the Bathurst 500 in February.
We had a really great race at Bathurst, but we didn't have as many people as we'd like. So to get a second bite at Bathurst so quickly, I think it's great for us and it'll be great for the fans too.
6 of the 12 rounds will be shown live on 7, including the Bathurst 1000 in October. And LeBron James has signed a whopping $115 million contract extension at the LA Lakers. The new deal takes him to the end of the 2023 season when he'll be 39 years old. It also coincides with his son's high school graduation, setting himself up to sign with whichever team to draft the little Bronny. NBA rules would have to change before then, though, to allow teenagers to play straight out of high school. And there were bizarre scenes during Man United's Champions League's clash with Paris Saint-Germain. Man U midfielder Fred wasn't sent off for a clear headbutt, despite the video referee being used.
There's no escape from that. He's a lucky lad.
He is a lucky lad there. Extremely fortunate.
It's a staggering decision.
Fred was later sent off after being shown a questionable second yellow card in the 3-1 loss, while Oliver Giroud scored 4 goals in Chelsea's 4-0 win over Sevilla. Blake, more sport coming up shortly at 6 o'clock, and there's more sport also on our website this afternoon, 7news.com.
What's going on with the ref's eyes in that one? No good. No idea. Thank you, Tommy. A baby is in safe hands after she was rescued from a blaze which destroyed her family's apartment in the US. Firefighters also saved the 6-month-old's sister and her deaf mum, who escaped to the balcony with her daughters. It's believed an electrical fault was to blame. Qantas unveils its flight plan for 2021 with a timeline for overseas travel. That's coming up after the break. Also, a truckie says, "I'm sorry," regrets at causing the deaths of 4 police officers. And all you need to know about the COVID vaccine as Australia waits its turn. We're back in just a couple of minutes. I'm done.
Think you will crush me?
Oh, I know I will.
Monday, 8:30.
Get it, Andy?
It's Captain. It's getting hot. Office now. From the producers that know how to do steamy.
I'm not the kid next door anymore.
Comes the next fiery new drama.
Hey, 500 down.
New Station 19, Monday, 8:30 on 7. Can't wait. The entire first season is now streaming for free on 7+.
Gift yourself more time this Christmas.
Santa?
With Woolworths Delivery.
You're not Santa. Next best thing.
Helping you share the spirit of Christmas. Woolworths.
Ooh, been through a bit to get here? Worth it. Check out this finance offer on CHR.
Make any excuse this play clearance. Get a 3.9% comparison rate across the CHR range. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
With more than 20% protein for muscle development, Nutri-Grain is one of the highest protein cereals.
I had a substantial debt and it was costing me a fortune. I had heard about HomeSafe, that I could access equity in my property to pay off that loan without going into further debt. HomeSafe are very easy to deal with. The consultant that came to me saw I was in a dilemma and he was interested in helping me. The contract, which is all very straightforward and easy to read. I know exactly where I am financially.
HomeSafe, the unique alternative to a reverse mortgage for over 60s.
Introducing Imprint Link technology. Just tell Roomba i7 and BravaJet M6 which rooms to clean. When Roomba is finished, it will tell BravaJet M6 to begin mopping. Our robots work together to deliver an extra level of clean. Only from iRobot.
Sam is fearless at studying tiger sharks. Just don't ask him to fix a leaking tap. It's amazing what you can't do. Task smarter.
AirTasker.
Make your move and make it undeniably yours. The BMW 118i.
$149 per week at 4.99% per annum. Business customers only. Search BMW 1 Series.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7's Afternoon News with Blake Johnson.
Australia will watch with interest during the rollout of the COVID vaccine in Britain, with immunisations to begin Monday. The UK is the first Western country to approve the jab, but there are logistical challenges ahead. Sarah Greenhalgh reports from London.
The second national lockdown lifted and a vaccine just days away. It's not quite Christmas, but close.
I don't know whether people are dancing in the street yet, but they will be when they realise what it means. I'm almost old enough to be at the front of the queue. Not quite, but...
The first 800,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine will arrive in the UK from Belgium by the weekend.
They've used the virus itself to perform a kind of biological jiu-jitsu to turn the virus on itself in the form of a vaccine.
Aged care residents, health workers and over 80s are the priority. They'll receive 2 jabs 3 weeks apart, giving them full immunity within a month. The goal is for the most vulnerable to be immunised by April, but the reality could be different. The vaccine must be deep frozen at minus 70 degrees. It can only last in a fridge for 5 days.
This is a complex product with a very fragile cold chain. It's not a yoghurt that can be taken out of the fridge and put back in multiple times.
The vaccine won't be made compulsory, but it'll still be the biggest vaccination campaign in the country's history. Part of that will be convincing people that it is safe, with the UK's Health Secretary willing to get the jab on live TV.
I just feel like it's really important. If we're going to get through this, enough people take it.
Yeah, I'll take it with you, Bez.
In London, Sarah Greenhalgh, 7 News.
For more now, let's bring in Professor Terry Nolan from the Doherty Institute. Thanks for joining us, Professor. Australians are still months off access to a vaccine, but how important is this milestone in the fight against COVID-19?
Well, it's a huge milestone. It was only a few weeks ago we saw the headline results from this vaccine and then 2 more since this, which showed us that it's actually worked much better than we had imagined it might. And so it appears that it's really promising for implementation around the world, including in Australia.
What are the approval processes that this particular vaccine must now pass to be deemed safe in Australia? I think we've ordered 10 million doses.
10 million from Pfizer, and then another nearly or over 100 million from the other 3 companies that the government has done a deal with. That 10 million from Pfizer isn't going to go that far because it's 5 million people. 2 doses are required for this vaccine for a course. So it's a fantastic start and an outstanding vaccine, but we need to have the others come on board as well to give us what we need in Australia.
Do you expect that Pfizer vaccine will get approval here?
I have no reason to doubt it, but I, like anyone else, shouldn't guess. The TGA is the Australian regulator, the Therapeutic Goods Administration. They need to be totally independent. They shouldn't be, and I know they won't be feeling any pressure to make a decision that will please anyone. They'll make the right decision based on the evidence to assure us as citizens that the vaccine works and also that it's safe.
Other countries are in far worse positions than us, particularly the UK. So can Australia afford to wait until March, as our federal government says we'll have to wait?
Well, I think that the government is guessing that March is the likely time that we will have had a provisional approval and have vaccine available. I'm actually hoping that TGA might be able to deliver an answer sooner than that, because they will have had the data themselves for some time to look at on what's called a rolling submission. So as the data have become available, the company will have been giving it to them in parts rather than dumping it all on at the end. However, of course, it does depend on, even if it's licensed, on the vaccine being available.
This weekend, we're expecting our final announcement on the easing of restrictions for the year. We've got hotel quarantine starting up next week as well. Are you concerned about the holiday season and those increases that we're going to see to indoor gatherings as well?
I am concerned that we've all got to do our bit, and certainly in Victoria, because we've had such a heavy dose of medicine, the bit for us to sort of say we don't want to go back there. Our compatriots in other states have enjoyed a period of relative freedom over this time, and so I hope the memory of what it was like with the first wave will have preserved their good social distancing behaviour. We have to remember that we're pretty much all of us, still vulnerable. Only those people who've had COVID are now immune.
Yeah, that second wave won't be forgotten for a while. Professor Nolan, thanks for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Urgent genome sequencing is underway in New South Wales after the state recorded its first local COVID case in almost a month. The infected woman worked at 2 quarantine hotels in Sydney. The New South Wales Premier says she won't hesitate to act on a new coronavirus outbreak. 5 of the infected workers' household contacts have tested negative and are in isolation. International holiday flights could be back on the agenda sooner rather than later. Qantas is preparing for overseas travel next year, but will take no risks with passengers' health. Chris Marr has more.
Well, it was a more upbeat Qantas boss Alan Joyce in his market update today with the return of domestic services, but remaining cautious about the future of international flights. The Qantas Group business as a whole has taken an $11 billion revenue hit from COVID and is expected, according to Mr Joyce, to record a significant loss this year. The reopening of borders is helping. The recent lifting of the Queensland border, for instance, to Greater Sydney and Victoria saw 200,000 fares booked in 72 hours. The Qantas boss says international services, though, are likely to remain grounded until July next year. Although there are suggestions of progress on a COVID vaccine, he says that could bring that forward, reiterating, though, his tough stance that passengers will need to be vaccinated against COVID on Qantas international flights. Mr Joyce has also dismissed as nonsense union claims that the loss of 2,000 ground crew jobs to contractors will see profits go to China. Transport workers affected went to Canberra today seeking a meeting with the Prime Minister.
A spear has been put through these families' hearts. These are families who have worked for Qantas for up to 30 years.
And growing signs of competition in the aviation sector. A Virgin sale today had one-way flights as low as $75 for school holiday services.
The truck driver behind the Eastern Freeway tragedy has apologised as he pleaded guilty to causing the deaths of 4 police officers. As Jade Vincent reports, Mohinder Singh was high on ice and hadn't slept for days at the time of the crash.
In the days leading up to the Eastern Freeway crash that killed 4 police officers, truck driver Mohinder Singh was on an ice binge. He was injecting the drug, then continuing his deliveries. He knew he was so fatigued that he was falling asleep behind the wheel. When he was interviewed by detectives, he told them, "I was tired, couldn't sleep because I was seeing that witch that put a spell on me, and I couldn't sleep at all." The 48-year-old Cranbourne father pleaded guilty to 4 counts of culpable driving, causing the deaths of leading Senior Constable Lynette Taylor, Senior Constable Kevin King, First Constable Glenn Humphreys and Constable Joshua Presney. The 4 members had pulled over Porsche driver Richard Pusey in the emergency lane of the freeway at Kew on April 22nd. Witnesses reported seeing the semi-trailer dipping in and out of the emergency lane and reported saying they thought he was going to kill someone.
What's really sad for us is that our fallen colleagues were working that night to keep the community safe from the very issues that ultimately took their lives.
Singh later told police, "I was sleeping at the time." They later found snap-lock bags containing drugs and an ice pipe in the prime mover. He claims he tried to slam on the brakes, but an examination of the truck revealed no reactive braking was attempted until the point of impact. Through his lawyer, Mohinder Singh issued another apology, saying he's very sorry for the deaths of the 4 officers who were innocent people. He'll be sentenced at the Supreme Court at a later date.
There are growing calls for Australia's Defence Force chief to lose his job. Angus Campbell has been criticised over his handling of a report that found Australian soldiers committed war crimes in Afghanistan. Some crossbenchers are demanding his dismissal.
No, he should be sacked. And I hope that he doesn't stand down so he can be sacked.
There are also concerns his moves to strip citations have affected veterans' mental health. The federal government won't stop the release of a movie about the Port Arthur massacre, but the Prime Minister says he is unnerved about it. The film focuses on killer Martin Bryant in the days before he killed 35 people and wounded 23 others.
People will make films. That's okay in this country. That's fine. We think that's a good thing, even if it unnerves a Prime Minister or many others.
The movie will debut at the Melbourne International Film Festival next year. Forget baubles and tinsel. A South Australian family has had the ultimate decoration on its Christmas tree, a koala, which made itself at home among the branches. Rosie Barnett has the story.
It certainly wasn't a decoration the McCormick family expected to see on their Christmas tree. So unusual, in fact, even the Koala Rescue Hotline thought it was a prank call. But it was very much the real thing. This was the extraordinary sight that confronted them in their lounge room. A young and confused koala trying its hand at being a festive ornament. The sneaky marsupial clung on to the plastic branches, tangled in Christmas lights. An adorable addition, no doubt, but Amanda McCormick wisely calling reinforcements.
It's something you don't see every day. What are you doing in our tree? You belong outside. We'll get the koala people to rescue you, hey?
The family believes the furball wandered into the house through a door left open for their dog.
I couldn't believe it. I actually thought my kids put a fake soft toy in the tree as a joke. But no, it was real when it moved, and yeah, gorgeous little things.
It's just unbelievable. Absolutely. You couldn't ask for a better Christmas card. You really couldn't.
The little visitor is now hanging out among these gum trees outside the family's home. But they've been warned to be on the lookout as she may be back for more festive fun.
Shocking details emerge about a driver who ran down Christmas shoppers. That's next on 7 News. Also, dramatic end to a fugitive's time on the run and the remarkable story behind the chimp bringing cheer to the city. We're back soon here on 7.
Who are you? Yes, I'm talking to you.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
It's time to take control. Your next adventure.
Target is down. I need extraction.
Your next journey is right here.
See for yourself.
Discover something new.
That's how you go big.
And stream it for free.
Yeah! Lock and load.
There's always something new to discover on 7+. So, what are you waiting for?
I'm Tran. And I'm Han. We started Poppy Smack to bring people together. Growing up in Vietnam, we learned to cook watching our dad. The whole family would often come together and share food. And we love to bring these connections to people that we meet at our market stores.
But this year, all the events has been cancelled. Now, you can find your nearest stockist or purchase our sauce online at poppysmack.com.au.
Lucky you're with Amy.
With crispy salmon Wellington and garlic butter lobster tails. You can go full Christmas for less at Aldi.
The year was weird, that much is true. Fires, floods, and lockdowns too, and we all missed so much along the way. So let's pack it all into one day and make it bigger than Christmas. The Easter Bunny rides a sleigh, we'll raise a cracker for Father's Day. Pin the tail on the tree, Rudolph's at your Bucks party. It's a roast turkey wedding cake, it's a football mayor pudding. We missed a year, but now we're here. It's bigger than Christmas. Happy ho ho, Merry Mother's Day. Congratulations, hope you get well soon. Hip hip hooray, I do. Salutations, mazel tov, inshallah, Shinyan Hao to you. 'Cause now we made it through. Make it bigger than Christmas.
Summertime is the perfect time for light and easy. Our new summer menu has over 100 delicious, nutritious meals to choose from, so you can look after your health and enjoy more free time during this busy time of year. And now we're also giving every customer 10 chances to win $10,000 just in time for Christmas. Make summertime the perfect time with Australia's #1 healthy meal delivery service. Order from Light and Easy's summer menu for your chance to win.
Healthy skin starts with new Cetaphil Face with hyaluronic acid. It helps protect the health of sensitive skin with cleansers and moisturisers that give gentle, effective daily care. Healthy skin starts with Cetaphil.
Buckle up.
Welcome to the front.
After I hit like the first couple of things, I just thought, stop it.
Highway Patrol, tonight on 7.
A man who tied his clothes into a rope and escaped from a remand centre has been recaptured in a dramatic takedown south of Adelaide. Jason Burden allegedly rammed a police car with a stolen car before being arrested last night. He suffered a head injury in the mayhem and is under police guard in hospital. Burden spent 34 hours on the run, now facing a string of serious charges. One of the world's most famous chimpanzees has been immortalised outside the Arts Centre. For more now, let's go to the artist responsible, Lisa Rowett, who's in South Bank this afternoon. Thanks for joining us, Lisa. It is a remarkable piece right behind you there. Tell us about your inspiration.
It is. This is David Greybeard, and he's an artwork that was conceived 2 years ago to honour the great Dr. Jane Goodall's 60th anniversary this year. So we've been making him ever since.
What was involved
all through lockdown as well.
What was involved in putting the sculpture together, and how long did it take?
Well, it's been 2 years in the conceiving. I spent some time with Dr. Goodall actually getting some of the anatomical sort of specs right with this chimpanzee. He was her favourite chimpanzee at Gombe, where she did all the important research. He's a chimpanzee that was named in Time magazine's 15 most important animals of the 20th century. And that's because he showed Jane tool use in animals other than humans. So scientifically it's really important. But yeah, it's been 8 months in sewing it. It's all hand sewn by a group of people led by someone called Felipe Reynolds at Arena down in Seaworks in Williamstown. And yeah, we're here. It's the third time lucky. We were meant to put it up in April.
What's it made from, and what's the significance of where it's sitting currently?
Well, it's made from a very lightweight metallic material, and it's actually inflated, so it looks like it's metal. It looks really solid, but it's very lightweight. He's here at the Art Centre in Melbourne, which have been great supporters of this project. It's a visual art project, so it's fitting that it's at the hub and at the heart of the arts precinct here. But it's also for Melbourne. You know, it's starting on a global tour. And Melbourne is my hometown, and I was really keen. It was paid for by the Victorian government and supported by the City of Melbourne, so I wanted it to start its tour here, right in the centre of the city. What sort of attention is it gathering right there on the bridge? A lot of attention. There's a lot of people taking photos. We had a big sort of press morning this morning, and we were here till 12 o'clock last night installing, and there were people all around the city coming in and taking photos. People having vigilantes, actually. They were waiting for it to be unleashed and unopened. It was fantastic. Famous chimpanzee indeed. Lisa, thanks for your time this afternoon. Pleasure. Thanks for having me. Residents of a German city have laid flowers and lit candles in tribute of victims of a drunk driver. 5 people died, including a baby, when a 51-year-old man drove his speeding car into a pedestrian zone full of Christmas shoppers. The driver travelled for a kilometre, sending people flying into the air before he was stopped by police. German prosecutors say the driver did it deliberately, but his motives were not terror-related. China has collected 2 kilos of rock and debris from a previously unexplored area of the moon. Its spacecraft drilled the moon's surface over 2 days, acquiring the first sample since US and Soviet Union missions in the 1970s. It's the third time China has sent a rocket to the moon, with hopes to send an astronaut there too. The mystery surrounding the metal monolith, which popped up in an American desert before vanishing, has been solved, well, at least partially. An adventure tour guide from Utah has uploaded video of himself and a group of friends dismantling and removing the structure in the middle of the night. He came clean to put an end to the sheer number of tourists who'd flocked to the region in recent days, but it is still unclear how it got there in the first place. You're watching 7 News. We're back with Peter Mitchell and also Jane Bunn from Williamstown straight after the break.
Look who's in the firing line.
You look like a frightened bird in a school classroom.
That's the look I was going for.
You'll be bowled over when Greg Chappell and Sunil Gavaskar drop in. A huge front bar cricket edition. Tonight, 8:30 on 7.
I do. Watch what I do. I see you looking. Watch what I do. Watch what I do. I see you looking. Watch what I do.
The power of the sun goes on, and so does Origin. Origin has been installing solar panels for over 15 years, so you can shine on and on. Origin, good energy.
Oh, I just went and got some milk.
Hey, wait a sec. Let's try Cocoa Pop's white choc flavour.
Just like a white chocolate milkshake, only crunchy. Dad, I'm starving.
A little bit of chili, a little bit of turmeric.
Classic hits to carry you through the night.
Dinner's up.
Oh, no. Hi, everybody. So good. Best dinner yet.
What's it feel like to get 19% off the Victorian default electricity offer?
I think I'll have to check them out.
Find your energy saving today at alentaenergy.com.au.
Whatever's happening,
The boost this morning for a COVID-19 vaccine.
start your day in the know,
Queensland will reopen its borders.
seeking out the facts,
6 people trapped in that car.
talking to the newsmakers,
Do you feel you did anything wrong?
asking the critical questions,
What progress has been made in that investigation?
breaking down the issues.
The state has passed a major COVID milestone.
There's good reason Australia starts the day with Sunrise on 7.
Peter Mitchell is working on tonight's edition of 7 News at 6. And Pete, an inquest has heard from the widow of the terrorist who killed Sisto Malaspina.
That's right, Blake. She's told how she met Hassan Khalif Shire Ali just 3 months before they were married. Ali went on a murderous rampage on Burke Street in 2018 before being shot dead by police. His widow has revealed a call he made to her moments before he began his attack, and we'll have details at 6. Also tonight, many Melburnians are opting for a tree change in the wake of the lockdown. Victorian towns are dominating the list of the most popular destinations for families looking for a fresh start. Where they are is coming up. All today's top stories at 6 o'clock, Blake.
See you then, Mitch. Thank you. Let's take a look now at Melbourne's roads.
Good afternoon, I'm Jessie in the Chisholm Institute Traffic Chopper, just having a look at the Westgate, seeing how the recovery is going after an earlier car and truck collision near the Balti. A couple of lanes were closed off for that. Outbound traffic has improved dramatically from out of the tunnel. Inbound still slowing down due to delays over the other side of the tunnel on the Monash. Whether it's a fresh start, a new career reskill or upskill, whatever the reason, you can chase your calling now with Chisholm. Visit chisholm.edu.au. We'll see you tomorrow with more traffic.
The Melbourne Zoo family has just gotten bigger after welcoming a new Asian elephant. Look Chai was the first of his kind to be born in Australia in 2009. His name means sun in Thai. He arrived this morning and will hopefully play a crucial role in the zoo's breeding program. All right, let's return to Jane Bunn in Williamstown this afternoon. Jane, the sun is shining on outdoor dining.
Oh, Blake, we couldn't have timed it better weather-wise to show you just how perfectly set up it is here on the main dining strip. We've had sunshine all day and fairly light winds. It is a perfect Melbourne day. The city climbed to a top of 24 and the wind direction determined how warm it was. Mid-20s in outer suburbs, low 20s around the bay. But it was a cool start for some. Yarra Glen just 4 at first. The sun is shining across much of Victoria. A bit of fog at first and some wispy high clouds. The north rose back into the high 20s or 30, but some parts were very chilly for this time of year at first. Just 3 in Hamilton and Portland, while Warrnambool woke to 0.8 at the airport. That is their coldest December morning in at least 22 years of records. Perth had the same record earlier this week, but those cold nights are moving on as high pressure establishes control. Our next weather system arrives on Saturday, bringing areas of showers and thunderstorms, following a pattern like this, mainly on Saturday afternoon and evening. The thunderstorms could be severe with damaging winds. The biggest falls are likely to be about the northeast ranges. The northwest misses out the most, while the rest could see up to 10 millimetres. If you get a storm, much less if you don't. Despite a fairly dry November, Melbourne's water storages are 11% higher than this time last year. We are 3/4 full heading into summer. Around the nation, Sydney's been cloudy and cool, but warm sunshine returns tomorrow. In Hobart, showers passing through in the morning, it's 20. Adelaide turns hot, a sunny top of 33. To Victoria, similar to today, but not as chilly to start and a few degrees warmer in the afternoon. It is sunny statewide, light and variable winds inland, sea breezes near the coast. In Melbourne, we are heading for 23, possibly 24 again. It is a sunny Friday right across town. Then on Saturday, expect a warm and windy day. That's ahead of a late change. But that's the latest. I'll have more from sunny Williamstown in the news at 6. Blake.
That table behind you looks perfect. Save us a spot. We're off air in about 60 seconds. See you soon. Thank you, Jane. That is all from the 7 newsroom for now. Peter Mitchell's here at 6 with breaking news as coronavirus is detected in wastewater in another Victorian town. From the 7 News team for now, have a great afternoon.
He's the biggest star in India today. His name is Virat Kohli. Australia's up against